This is the Travel Project, where we believe children don't just need roots, they need wings. I'm Kam King, father of three, co-founder of First Seat, and your host. This is a show for parents who are learning as they lead and unlearning what no longer serves. Produced by Grabs.fm and proudly syndicated by All Things Parenting. He traded his stethoscope to a school bell. Welcome, Dr. Vincent Chian. He is rehumanizing classroom and with emotional intelligence. Right, so we're going to head straight and to the nail, Dr. Vincent. What was the drive for you to get off from the clinic and into a classroom?
Thanks for having me here today. Glad to be here. So, I was in psychiatry just before I left medicine in a place called Oldham. And I spent a lot of my time trying to fix broken people with all of my psychiatry super glue, my drugs, my psychotherapy. What I realized is that it wasn't very successful. Our efficacy rate was pretty poor. Recovery was temporary, and often relapses meant that I was basically holding their hand till they went on their next bender, which would result in something worse.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like a vase on the table that's been knocked onto the floor and it's shattered, right? And then my job was to put that thing together with my psychiatry superglue. And the problem was every time you put the vase back together, it's got a hole in it. And the next time it falls off the table, it's really gonna shatter into a million pieces this time. And the next time I can't put it back together. So I decided, like, maybe I should dedicate my life, instead of fixing the vase and putting it back together, to trying to make the vase a bit stronger. Maybe changing the material of the vase. I don't have the right to be the potter's hands here. I can't shape every vase, but maybe if I can add a little bit of, I don't know, alloy to the clay, I can make the vase maybe bounce instead of shatter this time.
Okay.
And that's why I went into education, because that's where you add little elements into the clay.
All right, then let's head on to, what's happening right now in the school system? And why are we seeing that when kids come out and they are overly protected and people are calling them the strawberry? What's happening right now in the classroom?
Okay, so you've got a couple of questions there. Kids coming out overly protected. I'm going to focus on that one. What's happening in the education space? So we've really tried to move very far away from the old school model of answer my question. If you don't answer it, here's a smack. We were using punitive punishment to motivate children, and that had been used for a long time.
Yeah.
And well, in this generation, really, teachers would really try to run as far away from that as possible, but we really run in the wrong direction now. Okay. We run way too far. Discipline is still needed in classrooms, but maybe not punitive discipline. A different kind of discipline, but that's a more difficult form of discipline. To speak to your children, to help them understand that what's wrong is not acceptable in classrooms, and help them work through the thought processes. That's much more difficult, and so teachers rather not do that, and they shift it to its furthest extreme, which is, well, let's just let them do whatever they want. Because we can't do anything to them. We're too afraid to do anything in case we get sued or scolded by our supervisor. So I suspect that with regards to the word strawberry generation, educators have become so afraid of malpractice suits, suing, litigations, or whatever you call it, that they're terrified of taking action to discipline the kids in the simplest way, which is just having a chat with our kids now.
That's where the whole situation where would you see that the unbalance becoming even worse with what you have expressed just now?
The imbalance being worse?
Yes, as in if teachers are not disciplining the students in the classroom, and would they be even more rebellious and teachers can't control the classes at all?
Absolutely. I think you have a really great spiral drawn out over there. So parents are also afraid of their kids.
Yes.
You know, now I hear things like, my kids decide, you can't really tell kids what to do nowadays. You hear these statements, offhand statements from parents. I want to be their friend.
Yes.
At the end, I keep telling parents, you're their dad, you're their mom. You can be friendly, but you're not their friend. You have a role to play. And if you don't play that role, you don't help them understand what's right, what's wrong.
Yes.
What does it mean to be a man or a woman? Who's going to do that? The teachers most definitely can't do it. And their friends, well, they're going to teach them all sorts of interesting things.
Yes.
Now you take that situation and you take the teachers being terrified of doing anything as well, and you basically have a child that's just left to his own devices. Not very good situation at that.
True. And moving to that is that, does it affect the environment in the classroom itself, whereby affecting the academic learning, affecting the confidence level of the teachers, or even affecting confidence of the child that's in the classroom?
I think we have to look at it more systemically. So when you have a lack of structure, as in expectations, this is what a man does, this is what a woman does, this is how a man behaves. A man, for example, things like a man always keeps his word, a man doesn't punch a girl, or a man doesn't bully, a man is a strong person that protects. These are, yes, certain gender stereotypes can be taken to extreme. It's not good, but they're nice expectations to set up. They set a certain frame for a child to grow into. When you remove all of these frames now, what you're left with is a child who has no idea where he should walk. So where does he turn to? Our dear friend, social media. And social media then fills him with well, nowadays I think social media is incredibly liberal in its thinking. You're a girl in a boy's body who actually wants to be a girl. What? Okay. Or actually, you want to be a girl in a boy's body who wants to be in a boy who likes boys, and very interesting effects are happening.
All get jumbled up.
But the problem is that the expectations are now placed on the child, which are very often extreme views, and sometimes they're extreme conservatives, sometimes they're extreme liberal views, which they're not suitable for children. And as a result, we have children who don't know where they are going. And when you don't know where you're going, how can you be confident about your ability to get there? And the basis of confidence itself is the knowledge or the belief that I can do something.
Okay.
When you don't know where you're going, I don't even know whether I can get there. So, to answer your question about confidence, it's a direct correlation here.
Okay. And how do you look at right now in terms of the academic path and in terms of what is happening in the world with all these extreme views? And how does it affect the situation in the classroom?
Okay, well, I think a really interesting thing that has happened in the world today is the rise of nationalism, me first type thinking. I mean, we had the whole Me Too movement as well. But it's a very interesting, selfish, self-interest sort of direction that we've seen the whole world shift into. To layer on to that, it's also my perspective matters more than your perspective first type conversation, if you want to dig behind the surface. A key problem of most of our education is that we've been taught that there is a right and a wrong answer. You do an MCQ, you get 5 questions, there's just one right and everything else is wrong. But life is different. You have 3 girls in front of you in the bar. Who should you date? There is no right answer there. And life really isn't quite so black and white. Should China be friends with the US? It's not a black and white yes or no answer, right? But the whole world seems to be looking at things from a dichotomous, a black and white sort of point of view, because 13 years of education has done what? It has taught us that you either get your 1 point or you don't get your 1 point. There is a right and there is a wrong, and there's nothing in between. And this sort of black and white thinking spread and magnified across countries has resulted in a lot of arguments that will not be settled because I refuse to take your perspective. Because my perception is more important. And it's all worked out in the mind, but it has not gone deeper into the heart, right? So, and looking at what you have been trying to do in putting into emotional intelligence into the classroom, how you see effective right now, especially for your school? I think the words the concept of emotional intelligence is fantastic. But like I think we shared earlier before the interview, emotional intelligence practiced in isolation tends to lack, well, purpose. Just imagine a soldier, a veteran, coming home from a war after fighting for 3 months, getting shot at, seeing his friends die. He comes home, seeing his mom, and he feels that great joy. Now, that joy is real joy right there, because he had a lot of pain and suffering beforehand. And you can feel the dichotomy. Without the black, there is no white. Very similarly, if you develop emotional intelligence and understand concepts like gratitude, it's hard to appreciate gratitude without the suffering. It's hard to appreciate the joy without its opposite as well. We need to be teaching emotional intelligence alongside the context to which it should be applied, or when is it going to be useful in the situation of studying hard for exams and pushing through the difficult days where you're reading really difficult books and failing. Yes, gratitude there is a wonderful thing to teach. And we need to teach them together, not in gratitude class, which is unfortunately what I see a lot of people doing, teaching skills in absolute isolation without a connection to the challenge that they're supposed to apply this skill to. So we teach other things like perspective taking. Actually, the problem with the world is that we prioritize perception, our perception, over perspective taking. If I'm not able to take your perspective, I will never be able to build a bond and a trust with you to build friendships. When you have a 1-0 conversation, dichotomous thinking from education, it's either your opinion is right or my opinion is right. In the IB, we have this concept called international mindedness. And it's a baseline concept which says that others with their opinions may also be right. It doesn't indicate that one is right and one is wrong, but both of us may be right in our context. And when you take that into a classroom and you do it every single day for 13 years, what happens is a very different kind of child. The child basically says, I hear you, I don't agree with you, but I can understand where you're coming from. And I think that's really interesting thinking. It's a different way of thinking. I don't buy, I don't appreciate, I don't subscribe to it, but I don't think it's a wrong thing to do, to think. There are some things that you will think are wrong, of course, like don't kill. But we teach that in our classroom. Now, what that develops is then the ability of a child to speak their opinions and understand other people. How does that link to emotional intelligence? It's the basis of emotional intelligence, the conversation, the discourse. It's where everything needs to happen. And in order to facilitate that, you have to create an atmosphere of safety. I think Google did a wonderful experiment where they determined the highest predictor of performance in a workforce was psychological safety, not even skills. And if you bring that into the classroom, you combine great discourse, the ability to take other people's perspectives, along with psychological safety, and then you introduce a lot of ethical conversations into that kind of classroom, you get a very different kind of child, a much more confident child, because they are confident in how they think.
And now coming from a parent's perspective, right? The child may go through these 13 years, and you have a parent who maybe has sat in a different context, who have a different worldview or different perspective or even perception. And the children start to engage with the parents. And the parents will sort of wear their parents' hat and say, I'm the parent, you listen to me. So have you seen this happening between your parents and the child, or a situation like this emerging?
I saw it happen with my own son. But I think for me personally, at least, the parents that come into the school, maybe they come from Chinese school or different places, they usually describe a 6-month shock. Because the children, let's say you come from Chinese school first, you come into the class and suddenly, instead of your teacher saying, what's the right answer? The teacher says, what's your opinion? And he doesn't tell you it's wrong or right. He just says, that's a very interesting opinion. Do we have other opinions around the room as well? No judgment, just listening. Okay. Now then, kid goes home and does the same thing with his parents. My opinion about, I don't know, eating meat. Let's go for that one.
Yeah.
My opinion about eating meat is blah. And he expects the parent to cast the same non-judgmental sort of stance to him. But the parent says, no, this is wrong. We should eat meat because I like meat. And we've eaten char siu for all of our life. We are Chinese.
Yep.
Now here, very often at least in my school, we do prep the parents ahead of time with how to engage in this sort of non-judgmental communication. Now this is just a introduction to the school workshop. Yeah. It doesn't move the needle very much. You have to practice it. And what parents tend to find is that when you come into an IB school and you learn how to engage with your children, you're going to mess up the first 100 times you do it. And your child's going to mess up the first 100 times you do it. But the magic is when you and your child walk on that journey together, there is a far more beautiful thing that happens than the parent being perfect, demonstrating perfection to a child. That is not real. And showing your child what is real, showing your child that they can make a mistake is a far greater gift to your child than any level of perfection can give.
Very interesting, because we had a previous guest as well who said this, that it's not being perfect and it's just be the best in that whole journey of it. Which also brings me to right now, there are a lot of push in different sectors of education to put in SAL into the learning. You have very greatly pointed out that it is not just teaching. They have to go through that process. However, parents nowadays would tend to helicopter and over-parent, and they create this safe space. Therefore, they do not go through the suffering. Therefore, whatever that's been perhaps taught in terms of emotional intelligence, or in terms of the social learning, is not, I would say, the children wouldn't be directly engaged with it.
That's mildly putting it. I quite agree. In this age of parenting where my children are the most precious thing on earth, and they're never wrong, and you can't ever put them through any degree of pain or suffering. They can't ever be challenged. Nobody can call them a name because that's bullying. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. In this age of this kind of cotton parenting,
politically correct and everything.
Yeah. You reap what you sow, isn't it? The best thing that we can do is actually have a podcast. I just hope parents hear and listen and be aware you're hurting your children, and stop doing that. Parents, go read a parenting book. Let the teachers who are trained do what they are trained to do. Don't be a trump and say that, the expert said this, but I'm smarter than the experts. It doesn't work like that. There's a reason why they're called experts, and they've gone through a degree to do things.
Right.
It's a funny situation to be in, but everyone has a responsibility to play. We need to play it well.
But what would be your advice to parents? For you to just take a step back, or just let the child thrive and just, if they need to hit a wall, just hit a wall.
My son the other day was making a diorama of the savannah. He's 5 years old. Yeah. So he got this cardboard, cut it out, he put all the paint on it, painted it. He got his toy lion. No lions in this. Toy lions, not tigers. He put a tiger in there. I was like, no tigers in the savannah. And he was trying to stick it on with hot glue. Yeah. So I taught him how to use the hot glue gun. It's hot. Don't touch that. And of course, what does every boy do when you tell him don't do it? He does it. Yeah. So he touches it, he burns his finger. Now, he's not going to die, but he's never going to touch that thing again. Yep. I, as a parent and as a teacher, I believe in teaching with consequences. If you don't study, you're going to fail. I'm not going to warn you about it. I will tell you about the consequences ahead of time, but I'm not going to give you a warning. The warning is a very interesting statement. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to warn it, and I'm not going to scold you for it. Warnings and scoldings, actually, if you read every parenting book in the world, they carry nothing. They carry almost no value. But let's see. Unsolicited advice, which is a warning or a scolding, is basically an insult. I mean, you can take that phrase home. Okay? Unsolicited advice is basically an insult. Stop insulting your kids. I had 2 boys. I said, okay, if you get hypothetically, if you get an A, I'll give you $100. Okay? You have 8 subjects, you get an A, I'll give you $100. One guy studies, one guy doesn't. Option 1, shout at this guy, yell at this guy, complain at this guy until he studies. Most parents will do that. Okay. Option 2, okay, it's the end of the semester, it's the end of the year. You have 5 A's, you have 1. Here's my $100 in $10 bills. I'm going to count out 500 for you, one at a time. Can you just count it, Dante, and just check whether you have enough money? Is it correct? Did I owe you more money? Oh, and you, sorry, you got the small buck one. You got the little 100. Now look at his face when he's done with that 100. He's going to be staring at that guy with daggers in his eyes. And I bet you no insult, no scolding can replace that. He is going to study his butt off because he understands the consequences. If I said, if you watch TV or you play more than 1 hour on the TV, you're banned for the week. No shouting, no scolding. Did you play more than 1 hour? Yeah, 1 hour, 1 minute. Give me your phone. Thank you. You're not getting this till next week. No scolding. You will repeat it a second time just to push your luck. And I'll do exactly the same thing again. You will learn by consequence. Now, how would I suggest parents teach their kids nowadays? Teach them to learn by consequences. Skip the insults, skip the scolding. That's the stuff that our parents used to do to us. There's a lot of psychology behind that. I'm not going to go to it very long. But it doesn't work and it's not helpful. And it creates all sorts of terrible limiting beliefs in children. Don't do it.
Very good one. Now, I'm going to put another perspective into it. Then you have the grandparents coming in. You take away the phone and say, oh no, then the grandparents give the phone. How do you manage that?
You know what? Personally, what I do, I take away the grandparents' phone too. I mean, of course, as a father and as a mother, you are the heads. I mean, I am a bit more traditional. I still think the man is the head of the house. I think it's a good model to work with. I'm the head of the house. If my father or my mother give my child a phone, I will have a conversation with them saying, this is the rule. He broke it. I really hope that you can help me educate my son with the right consequences and not teach him the wrong things. And I think any sane, well-meaning adult would really understand. It doesn't take much to understand that, really.
Yeah, because very interestingly, like last week, I had this conversation with a group of parents. So they were in a different path in their child's learning. And the grandparents come in and sort of throw in the spanner to whatever they have in mind. So they have this challenge, and it's not just about the phone, it's the perspective of how to teach the kids, how to guide the kids. So it's like having another generation probably in the same roof would sort of affect the whole dynamics of it. So it will take longer in the instance of you saying that, having the different perspective, the conversation between the parent and the child, and then you have this layer on top.
Yeah. I like to roll with the positives here. Okay, so sometimes when I have dealt a really harsh consequence on a child, let's just go for no phone. It's probably the harshest thing you can do to them, okay? Let's just say I do no phone, and unfortunately he breaks that ban. So it's from a week, it just went to a month. I know it hurts. Like I don't want them to do this. And it's kind of sucks for the kid. And I know for maybe after 2 weeks, he's really repented. He's being good. And grandma says, hey, Vincent, can I just let him use my phone for 10 minutes just to play around? Like, I'll be like, don't let me see it. So there's a little bit of a pedal accelerator going on. brake accelerator moment that you can play with over here. But a big key here that you can see from this example is really, it's about trust, communication, and working with, not in spite of. I don't think any grandparent wants to hurt their grandchildren. They really don't. But a lot of the time we're afraid to say, hey, Dad, do you mind working with me on this? For fear of them saying no, that fear of rejection that our kids are afraid of. We're afraid of it too, congratulations. And because of that, we don't communicate. Well, don't do that. Stop it. Go and communicate. Be the bigger person. Be the adult in the room. You're supposed to be the parent and the adult. Go act like it. Go talk to your dad and say, can we have a conversation about this, please? This is what I'm trying to do. This is how I want to do it. This is what you're doing and it's causing certain problems. What can we do? Let's put some things on the table and talk. I know I've done it a few times and it's worked out well every time.
I think it goes similar to relationship with the father and the mother. You know, this communication and this trust in perhaps the child's education. You know, I have heard that the father would have a certain expectation or certain leaning towards certain pathways, and the mother have a different pathway. You know, probably you would have the same. You know, in your school that the father thinking the child should be doing perhaps a very traditional path, and then versus going to the IB path. How do you consolidate, you know, with building the trust and the communication between parents?
So in our school, I'm going to start with a perspective first. If you're my wife and I'm your husband and I have a mother-in-law there, right? And I give you a present, whose opinion of whether this is a good present is important? The giver, the husband, the wife, or the mother-in-law?
The wife.
Well, we both know that the husband's opinion never mattered in the first place. Mother-in-law is terrifyingly scary, but still actually really doesn't matter. The only one whose opinion actually matters is the wife. Now we change this to the giver, the receiver, and the observer. Child's getting a gift of career. Whose opinion is the most important one in the room?
The child.
Now the problem is children aren't equipped to make that decision. So we take away that power from them. We take away their right to make a decision and say we're doing it for you in your best interest, essentially disempowering them from making decisions. Now, I'm still not going to let you make a really silly decision. Like if you want to be a WWF wrestler and you're looking like, you know, a little skinny twig, I'm going to say, no, this is crazy, stop it, right? But for most intents and purposes, it's the child's opinion that needs to prevail over here. Now, yes, children are going to make dumb decisions at the beginning because they don't know how to start. But this is what we do in the school. We use a four-step process, and it's very simple. You can do this. It's great for your listeners. First one, what are you really passionate about? Draw a circle, write that down in the mid-circle. What do you really love? When they're young, they love football. I love Roblox. Okay, fine. Second part, what are you really good at? Now, it could be subject-based things that you're really good at. It could be other skill-based things that you're good at. You can do subjects. I'm really good at math. I'm really good at physics. Or it could be, I'm really great at selling stuff. I don't know why, but I can sell stuff. I'm really good at making friends and talking to friends. My friends always call me up when they break up with their girlfriends. It could be these things. Just write it down. It's totally great. Third circle you have is, what can I get paid for? What drives my economic engine? Okay, now you take these three circles and then you add a fourth circle. And this is where the magic happens to put it together. And most people can't do this. What great big problem can I dedicate the next 2 years of my life to solving? Now, why do I say great big problem? Purpose demands you're solving real problems. If you're not solving a problem, it's not a good purpose to live by. And by the way, if I hadn't said it already, this is actually crafting your child's purpose, not their career. Career is just a job. You're going to change jobs 5 times by the time you hit 30. Forget about careers. Just focus on the purpose first. Why do we say what great big problem? I say big problem because Well, you solve big problem, you get big money. You solve small problem, you get small money. What are the biggest problems in the world we know right now? I know. It's called the SDGs.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of them, right? And they're the giant problems of the world. You can solve that. You will get the biggest reward, maybe not monetary, but everything else. It'll be huge. Go solve that if you want to solve a problem. And what great big problem can I dedicate my life to solving for the next 2 years? Because you can't figure out purpose for the next 20 years when you just started out. It's like finding a wife. You know, you date your first girl, you don't know if you're going to marry her. You have absolutely no idea what you're doing. You don't even know how to kiss her.
Yeah.
You have to date your second girl, maybe a third, and then maybe you'll figure out along the way. So start with the first run. We do this in the school at it's a 9-year-old point.
Interesting.
Then we repeat the cycle again at about 11 years old. And then we repeat it again at 13 years old for a total of 3 cycles.
Okay.
The first time you do it, you want to be a fire truck driver or something, fireman. The second time you do it, you're like, oh, Dr. V, I hate this. I've done this already. But okay, look, I've gone through a whole thing, but I like the banker job. He earns lots of money. The third time you do it, I'm sick of this, but I've done it before. I'll do it for you because he asked me to. But I know how to do this because I've done it 2 times. I'm going to be a cybersecurity engineer. Because there's a big problem with security in the world, and that's the way forward. Now, the idea is the iteration. It's not just the model first using it, the 3 circles. It's actually the iteration. By the way, if you want to find out where this is from, look for the hedgehog principle in Good to Great by Jim Collins.
But after 13, do you still do one more round? Because that's where perhaps they'll be choosing, you know, the directions that they'll be going.
Oh, after 13, they can do it by themselves. I've done it 3 times with you. You're sick of me doing it with you already. But we'll focus more on the nitty-gritties at this point because, 13 for us is actually year 10, year 9, around there.
Okay.
Our kids advance a bit faster. So about the year 9 point year 10 point is our last iteration. And then after that point, they need to really focus on the nitty-gritty of which country, which university, and which cost, and which scholarship do they apply to, right? They don't have time to be running around the purpose thing anymore. Purpose is great, gotta get it before that. Then you hit your, the how, the tactics of how to arrive at your destination point after that. Because that requires its own effort and detail as well.
Yes, understand. So my next question would be, what the qualities does a 21st century learner need to have?
You should reference the Future of Skills Report 2030 by WES. Very common report, widely available. There are a few key skills that seem to be coming to the fore. One of the big ones that must be mentioned is AI literacy. If you use AI in your work now in school, you're banned as a bad kid. But it's ridiculous. I use AI nonstop at work. And the more I use it, the greater I am, the more accolades I win. So it's this huge dichotomy. AI literacy. Gotta teach it to the kids from young how to use AI as their friend and companion. Not to take over the thinking, mind you, but to work with it to do greater things. Right now, we just demonized it. Just the same way we demonize everything we don't understand. First one. Second one is leadership skills. We're never going to fall short of this one. People need people more than ever. The ability to bring people together with a common cause and drive them in a common direction. Absolutely critical, not going to change anytime soon. Problem solving behavior. The ability to recognize, solve problems and creatively ideate solutions. This is the third big skill that's really, really important. I mean, it comes under the package of creativity, but I think problem solving is a far more specific way of doing things. And then, of course, there's a blanket communication skills, which is not just written communication or verbal communication. It's also about mass communication. How do you brand, personal branding, this sort of concepts. How do you communicate things consistently, articulately, in not so many words? These are pretty much the skills that I think they highlighted on that report I read.
But with this is from the report, but how are you seeing that it translates to the classroom?
It doesn't. In most classrooms, it really, really doesn't.
Yeah, so how do we balance it? And when kids actually go through the whole system, 13 years, and then they come out, and then bang, they're going to meet with others, and they won't be able to match it.
You're going to get me in trouble for this. Well, I come from an IB school, so my answer is biased. I would obviously say, go IB. Of all the curriculums that I know, the IB is the only curriculum I've seen so far that adequately develops this. I mean, in an IB classroom, first of all, there's a lot of opinion asking. What's your opinion? What's your opinion? Yes, there are some opinions that are more right than others, but it's a very discourse-heavy classroom rather than the what's the right answer kind of classroom, which is a interrogation-based classroom. This is a more inquiry-based classroom. That development of curiosity, intellectual curiosity, is a core part of the IB program. The development of perspective taking, core part of the IB program again. Working in groups to solve problems. Now, how many skills? Let's see. You got leadership running there, you got problem solving skills running there, you got communication running there. It's basically ticking all the boxes already. And of course, it has the depth. Do you know, if 100 students applied to Harvard, 5 would probably get in, okay? If 100 IB students applied to Harvard, 12 will get in. A student is 3 times more likely to go to one of the top 20 universities in the UK just because he's an IB student. Just because of that. They did a study where they matched A-level students' quality for the same quality IB student, and the IB students were getting into universities far higher. Why? The depth, the rigor, the preparation was real world appropriate. You never promote anyone at work because they can fill out an exam. You know, when's the last time I promoted a teacher because, oh, congratulations, you filled out the exam paper really well. You're a great person to promote. Nonsense. Did you solve the problem for me? Can you give me a proposal creatively that solves this issue? Can you communicate it to me? You're up. Promoted.
And also looking at a different perspective is that a lot of parents want to move it away from the very much exam-oriented, very academic, and they want it very holistic. They want their child to experience the different things that's available outside. But they are still stuck with that I need a certain type of certification. I need to do this type of exams, and so that I may, because it's structured. And IB is not so, it is somewhat structured, but it's also not structured in that sense. Would you say that?
I think it's structured differently.
Yeah.
In the IB, you get the same certifications as IGCSE or SPM, the local curriculum. They're called different things. Of course, it's a different program. They're going to call them different things. It's equivalency, as in how recognized is it to the next level, is the same. Officially, you take an IB cert to university, you take an A-level cert to university, I just told you what's going to happen. Yeah. The IB guy wins any day. And this is statistically proven. This is not even an opinion. I can give you 50 more statistics about this. Right. But the problem is, really, it's what you said, absolutely right, but they're excuses. It's an excuse. Why do I not go to, I want to lose weight. I'm fat. Why do I not go to the gym? It's raining today.
Traffic jam.
Traffic jam. I'm a bit headache today. Okay. These are excuses. Realistically, if you did your research, you thought about it carefully, you went through the logical process, you can't argue against it. There is no valid argument anymore.
Okay, then my last question is this. Now, what we're seeing is that there are a lot of students right now who are facing a lot of mental challenge and emotional challenge. It could be due to stress at home, relationship for the older kids. It can be even due to their stress from their studies. How would you address this issue not just in your school, but an overall look at what we have right now in the current atmosphere in our education system. Because we have this bullying, we have kids jumping. So how do we manage?
You know, I recently came back from Hong Kong where this is a hot topic nowadays. A key official's child jumped off the high rise, and it brought this conversation to the fore there as well. The first thing is, when we need to help children, motivate them to move faster. Today, our current tools that most parents are able to use and are willing to use are negative in orientation. They are either take something away from you or negatively punish you. Because we're so used to the instant results of negative punishment and the compliance that it brings, we don't have the patience that positive reinforcement requires. Positive reinforcement works big time, but the problem is you need some skill and you need some patience. You can't do this instant gratification business. You're not going to get it straight away. Yeah, you got to work through it 1, 2, 3 times, but it will last. So we know it's a good thing. I'll tell you a story of what I did, and it's the real story of what my mistake. I ran the first DP program in our school, IB diploma, okay? So we brought in this whole bunch of kids, 10 kids, super smart, 10 A's kind of kids. I had the number 1 and the number 2 from Chonghua, my batch. Of course, I was gunning for the highest score possible, right? First inaugural batch, we got to score well, we got to make our name out there. So we pushed the kids, we really, really pushed them. Tuition, extra classes, extra homework time, extra revision sessions, tips and tricks.
The whole work.
We just bashed them. We really pushed them very hard. Their average score at the end of that first year was 33 out of 45. Now, for context's sake, 33 is nothing. The passing score is 30, and the God score, which is the maximum score, is 45. 33 is nothing. Okay? Well, I was like, I have 10 scholars. Why do I have 33? It doesn't make any sense. We did everything we possibly could. I sat down with my coordinator. Her name was Donna back then. And I was like, kids are really stressed, she told me. Maybe we should help out there a bit. We brainstormed a little bit. So somehow the conversation led to something terrible. I told her, Donna, why don't we try the concept of family? And she went, Vincent, what are you talking about? What is this? Come on, this is not a Disney movie. And literally, I took that from, I just watched Lilo and Stitch that week. Family means nobody gets left behind. So I literally pulled that out on her. She said, Vincent, this is so corny. It's got blue cheese all over it. You can't do this. We talked a bit more. And eventually, we said, okay, let's try. We tried everything else. We're going to try the cheese route.
Okay.
So we pushed family. We taught the kids, family means nobody gets left behind. When you come into the DP family, you guys look out for each other. One guy cries in the corner, everybody goes to help. Nobody gets left behind. We take care of each other. When somebody is suffering, you don't let him suffer. You get in there quickly and help them. What will keep you going in the diploma program is knowledge that your friends will never let you fall, or even if you fell, they will sit there with you in the failure and the pain. While you're in the pain, they won't abandon you. You will never be abandoned, even if you suffer. Now, we worked with that concept. And of course, we worked with a couple of the other things like being grateful to each other. That kind of builds the family thing. We work with the concept of safety as well. Family takes care of each other. The results that year went up to 36. And we took the top IB school in Malaysia and a top 100 IB school in the world award that year. And we've kept it for the last 5 consecutive years now. Why? Family. Now, you tell me about stress and people jumping off buildings. And the only thing I can tell you that I've really learned from this story is this. If you want your children to succeed, more workbooks, more tuition, more stress, more scolding is not the answer. Give them the safety, the environment of trust, that family, that they can come back to, that remove that feeling of abandonment from there. Once they feel safe
and secure,
right? Real safety, not fake safety like cotton strawberry kid kind of safety. A real safety. It's not that I'm not going to challenge you. I'm going to push you, but I'm going to make you feel safe. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to tell you you're an idiot or anything horrible like that. I'm not going to scold you. I'm not going to warn you. Remember, unsolicited advice is an insult. I'm not going to do that to you, but I am going to push you, and I'm going to expect great things out of you anyway. That's safety and challenge are two different things. I am going to push you. Now, once you do that, when people feel safe, they dare to take risks. And the only way that we learn is by taking risks. You cannot learn if you don't take risks and step outside of your comfort zone.
True.
And this is what I understand. Now, if you want to say, what should we do in this world? I'd say, look, let's take care of each other. Let's get rid of that judgmental conversation. Learn non-judgmental conversation. When you talk to other people, speak from your experience. Everything I've told you, I can tell you I've got a story behind all the things that I've said, because these are my experiences. And yeah, be there, show up for one another. I hate it when kids come. I hear a kid I say, are you going home? Oh, I'm going home by Grab. I say, nobody's come and take you? My mom's here, my dad's here. I got a maid at home waiting for me with Indomie. I thought, show up for your kids, guys. That's one of the most important things you can do as a dad or a mom. I think, but let's get back to basics. You don't need complicated things to be a great parent, to help your kids stay away from suicide and all that. By the way, 50% of all men that commit suicide do it because of rejection. Right? They got rejected when they tried to make bonds with other people. This is a psychological study, right? And you can see the connection that's happening over here between showing up, family, the trust and connection, the bonds, and mental well-being, suicides, and so on and so forth. There's a very clear, nice, tangible link between all of them now.
Thank you. And that's a wrap for this episode. Family, no one gets left behind. Thank you, Dr. Vincent, for coming in.
My pleasure.
This is the Thrive Project. And if you feel that whatever discussion and whatever we've discussed and talked about, it helps someone out there, to help to share it up. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you.